Okay, guys. So today we're going to be making a new game, and it's going to be inspired off a maze. So this is going to be a simple little beginner game, and it's going to utilize touching colors and backgrounds. Because a lot of you, when I mean a lot of you, I mean all of my subscribers, um, have been asking me, how do I make my backgrounds and how do I make my characters fall and how do I make colors in my backgrounds affect the actual game. So today we're just going to be explaining how you can make a game using a background and using the touching color feature. And basically, hi Scratchy, we're going to delete Scratchy real quick. And just like the other game, I'm going to go to this little sprite thing, go to paint. I'm going to create a new character. I'm gonna square, and I'm gonna make this square red. Actually, I'm going to make this square green because I need it to be a very defined color so that it's not getting confused. So I'm gonna hold shift and I'm just gonna drag my square. And as you can see, it's a square. So I'm gonna make this relatively small. Just playing around. I think that's a little too small. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So the reason why I don't want it too big is because we're going to have a maze. And if it's too big, it's going to be too hard to maneuver around the maze. So we need space. So we're just going to rename our sprite player. And we're going to name this green costume. Okay, so let's go to code. And as we can see here, we have our green character. So, of course, we're going to start with my favorite thing, setting up. So we're going to, green flag is clicked, and we're going to do some broadcasts. Let's broadcast new message. Sorry for my scratchy throat. I'm quite sick today. So we're going to broadcast green flag. And then when I receive green flag, I'm going to broadcast setup. And then when I receive setup, I'm going to broadcast. But since we're going to actually use setup, we're just going to broadcast, not broadcast and wait. We're going to broadcast a new message, and it's going to be start. Okay, so while we set up, we have to have a starting position. But to know where we're going to start and where the game is going to start, we have to create the game. So let's go to backdrops, just clicking on this square here. And you can go hover over this and click paint. Okay, so we're on this screen again. Let's just delete this backdrop. And let's name this level 1. So we have level 1. And let's just go to the line. Let's make this line a different color. Let's make this line red. Okay, and we're going to make it, no, we're going to make it 50. Let's make it red. Perfect. So, just erase this real quick. And so this is going to be our level. So we can just create the level borders. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we have a nice level border. And let's just erase a little part right here to make it look like the square came through right here. Of course, if you're making this game, you can make it a little more artistic and aesthetically pleasing. So I'm just going to open this up a little bit more. As you can see, it kind of stitches back. So now that we have that, we have to actually create the level. So let's go back to our line tool. Let's create the maze. So I'm going to go down. Actually, I'm going to go all the way down. And I'm going to squiggle around a little bit. Just create some random shapes. Ooh, that might be a little too thin. This might also be a little too thin. We can go and make sure if you're making this that either your character is small enough, because I might have to go back and make my character a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, or that your line tool that you're using is big enough for the character. So let's just, that's a little too small. Again, I'm making this in a rush to let you guys see the rough outline of what you can do. But of course, you can put more time into this. I'm going to just quick outline of this. Got my level. Of course, I'm always holding down shift because if I don't, the line will be not straight. So we've made it to the end of the level and we stop. So we've made our level and we've made everything. We're nice and good. Nice and good. We're just going to fill this in using the bucket tool. It might take a little bit because I'm recording, but we can actually just use this. Let's make that 30. Okay, let's make it 100. Better. So we just fill this in. Good. Okay, yeah, so we have our filling in. We have our fill. And I think we're done for this level. So this is level 1. And we go back to our character, and I'm just going to make a small change. Make him a little bit smaller. Make it the green again. Make this outline black. Go to square, and I'm just going to make him, the outline's a little big from the, yeah, that's good. So I'm just going to delete that. Actually, yeah, I think that's pretty good size. So that's good. Green costume. And now we can actually start with the level. So let's just check if, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. Let's go back to backdrops. And let's maybe delete some of this. So that's easier for the character to go through. Now we have that little bunny shape. This also. The way the lines work is if you erase some, it'll just give a little rounded off edge. So if you're trying to delete stuff, make sure that you take that for account. You can see little bunny ears, kind of. And now let's go back to player. So let's just make, let's go to code, and let's just set up first. So this is the setup, and let's just do this, the go to. Oh, this is the green flag. Let's go to, and this is pretty good. This is a good starting place. We can start here. So let's go negative 150, not negative 1000, negative 150, and I'd say 135. You should always round numbers because round numbers are just easier to work with, especially when doing math like division or random numbers. It's much easier to do it. So we start here. Actually, I think I'm going to move him over a little bit. Let's go negative 160. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So now we start there, and now we just have the sensing part. So we're going to go to events. We're going to when I receive. We're going to do setup. And we're going to do start game. Sorry. And during the start game, we're going to do an if block, and we're going to do touching color, and we're going to make it red. So you can press this button right here, and you can sample the color. Because if you just try to wing it, it's kind of hard, and that's why I tried to just put the slider all the way to the side, because it's easier if you wing it. But if you want to be exact and if you want to have different colors, you can press this button right down here and click, and it'll sample the color you want. So we have our color, and we're just going to, for now, we're just going to stop all. But there's nothing to stop, so let's actually have proof. Let's go to sounds, and let's just start a sound like a pop sound. Of course, now, if I turn up the volume, oh, I forgot about the setup. We actually have to implement something. So let's go to not when I receive, but when blank is pressed. So we can go to right arrow. When right arrow is pressed, we can change X by 10. So let's try that. As you can see, it doesn't really do anything. And I can just go, and it doesn't really do anything. And that is a problem that I also occurred when trying to use these touching colors or touching like player, for example. What you have to do is add a forever loop, because basically what I've found out is if this is touching, it only checks once. Only when it receives start game does it check if it's touching red. It doesn't check forever if you're touching red. It only checks when it receives the start game, if that makes sense. So if I put a forever here, when you start game, it's always checking. And as you can see there, made the popping sound and it stopped all. So what we're going to do is, instead of stop all, we're just going to stop this. And yeah, we're going to continue with the right arrow, change blank by left arrow, up arrow, blank by blank. You get it? And we're just going to continue that, and I'll be back when I finish that. Okay, so I'm back, and I did all of the stuff. It's pretty simple. Right arrow, so it's going right. So we change the X by 10. Sorry, it's a little bit louder. It's raining even harder now. Left arrow, it's going this way, so it's negative X. So I change X by negative 10. And up is going up, obviously, so it's increasing X. So I change X by 10. And down is decreasing X, so I change X by negative 10. So if we go like this, we can see we have a little bit more. We can move around and we have a little bit more control of our surroundings. This might be a tight squeeze. Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem for the backdrops. Of course, you don't always have to stick with this backdrop. You can, you could just try to delete some stuff. You can play around with it. It's really up to you. I'm just going to delete some off that. I think that'll be good. So we're going. We're trucking along. And we can fit through there, that's good. We just barely scrape through here. And yeah. And I'm assuming here would be our end stop, but that's for another video. So yeah. That is it for this episode. This has been Scratch 101 here. And look out for the next episode on the end game and basically switching levels. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.